All right, let's check out this comment. I made a video called Balding and Bearded for Job Interview Number 2. And someone named Max Cope, who's obviously not American based on some of the language he's used, he had this to say. And this is a commentary. He's not criticizing me. It's a commentary on society, I feel. But I think it's worth discussing and addressing. Max Cope, quote, "Such a shame that this kind of BS, like dressing in a certain way or caring about minor details like facial hair, is what makes the difference in this world. Almost sounds like a joke. But your brain is quick to remind you that this is reality and this is what people value the most, not actual important things like being a good-willed human being with morals. Absolute BS," end quote. So there you go. Again, I do not take this that he's criticizing me for making the video. Of course, the video was just talking about how I decided that day for that interview not to shave my beard, but instead to keep it because it was a younger company, and I thought, hey, I'll be more relevant if I have a beard. That was the video, and I was dressed in a suit. That was the video. So, you know, the fact that I was even analyzing whether I should have a beard, and the fact that I was dressed up so nice in a suit and a tie and all that. So I want to immediately agree with our friend Max. It is a shame because I know what I'm qualified to do. I know my skill set for writing. I know my skill set for HR skills. I know as you're hearing that, you're thinking, wait, what? No, Nick, that's not you. You're a YouTuber guy about hair loss. That's who you are. That's a fraction of who I am. That's 5% of my identity. But most of my identity is a guy that has a lot, like a decade of HR experience, a decade of professional writing experience, in addition to what I do in videos, right? So I would love for employers to be able to see that on my resume and LinkedIn and think, we want to hire this guy for HR. We want this guy, and we're willing to pay him at least what he's been paid to do in the past. That's what I would like. I wish that translated on paper, but it's true. We also have to sell ourselves in person if we can at least get an employer to look at us there. Fundamentally though, here's the way I look at this. I know I've said it before. We're told you shouldn't care what people think about you. You shouldn't care what people think about you. And to a certain degree, that absolutely is true. You know, I've said before, if I wanted to please most of my subscribers on this channel, I would buzz my hair off at a 1.5 guard and grow a beard. And then everybody would be happy. Almost everybody would applaud me and say, Nick, you finally did it. You look great. Because physically, that's the best that I can look based on what most people say in the comments. But yet, I'm not a slave to what other people think to where, well, oh, you mean you would like me more if I looked a different way? That would please you more? Then I better do it. Because I'm so confident of a person, I don't take stock in what people think about me to that degree enough that I'm caring to do it. I will gladly accept, you know, input and criticism from people to become a better person. But ultimately, I'm still going to do what I want to do that matches my own identity. So, yes, it's true we shouldn't care about what people think, and especially when it comes to balding. Because if you're so worried about going bald and that becomes your identity, the worry of, oh no, I'm going bald, then that's why I always say, well, if you're going that bald, then shave it off, and that's your new identity. And people will actually respect you more if you do that, which I definitely believe is what our society believes. Our society now believes that if you're going bald, meaning, in my opinion, Norwood 4 or worse, you shave it off. Otherwise, you're seen as weak because you're trying to hold on to what you still got. Norwood 4 or greater, unless you're still a very confident person despite that, and you're cool with rocking or Norwood 4 or worse, our society, especially younger generations, we're expected, I feel, to definitely just shave it off and do that. So there is this kind of war that we go through as we're experiencing hair loss that, well, I'm a confident person and I don't care what people think. That's good and that's healthy and that's important. At the same time though, we should care about what people think to a certain degree as well. You know, if I go into a job interview, I need to make sure that the version of me that they see is what they want to see. And that's what's called emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is meaning that you understand yourself to a great degree and you understand other people's expectations of you to a great degree, which I think is what the success I have had in being a YouTuber talking about hair loss, even though I'm no expert. I think that's a lot of what it does. What am I doing on a regular basis? I'm responding to people's comments because I'm understanding where they're coming from. Forget about how I feel, but what do other people feel, and how can I meet my identity with their identity, and let's have a conversation about it. It's about understanding other people's expectations. So we have to manage our own expectations from a realistic perspective, but we have to do that by managing that with other people's expectations of us. So in a perfect world, I would already have it's been a month now since I was laid off and they shut down the whole branch. It's been a whole month now. I would love to get back to work. I really would. And I've been applying for so many jobs. But me being a good person isn't good enough. Me even being an experienced and skilled person isn't enough. It takes a lot of that. Free market. I'm a libertarian. I say that all the time. It's not about me being a good person. It's not about me being good enough. I'm fighting the free market. Here in Nashville, Tennessee, every time I apply for a job, it usually says 23 people have already applied for this job. So even though I've applied for 58 jobs, I still don't have a job yet, and I've only been called in for 2 interviews. It's a struggle and it's a fight, and it's not as easy as I would like it to be, and that definitely has an effect on inside of me, affecting my identity. Because who am I as a person? I'm a guy who's skilled and talented in my mind, but I realize it's me versus a lot of other people who are too. So we should care what people think about us to a certain degree. We have to make sure, we have to predict what their expectations are of us. But we also have to manage our own self-esteem and identity as far as not caring so much about what other people think that we become a slave to other people. It's definitely a balance. And it all comes down to emotional intelligence. The takeaway is this: as you are experiencing hair loss or whatever it is as a man, and it affects your identity, changing with or without you, it always comes down to this: you do what makes you feel confident as a man, but you also make those decisions based on what other people expect of you, if you're needing those people to help you progress where you need to be in the world. It's both of those things. It's caring about what people think about you, and it's also not caring about what people think about you. It's that perfect in-between is really what gets us ahead in life. I'm Nick Shell, and I am so not an expert. But if you want to listen to me, you can. But if you don't want to, you should. I'm just a guy with a camera. That's all I am. Not a